St. George's had originally been established by St. Albans Parish as a mission of St. Albans, as was St. Columba's. St. Columba's was also a mission of St. Albans. And the three churches, for the better part of several decades, actually collaborated pretty well. But then St. Columba's became a much stronger parish, and it eventually broke away from St. Albans. And as a result of that, it acquired responsibility for St. George's. But St. Columba's expressed very little interest in St. George's. At that time, St. Columba's was very, very involved in trying to establish itself as a separate parish, to build its very nice stone chapel building where we still worship today. And so when the land was condemned to build Alice Steel, St. George's Chapel was destroyed. St. Columba's was entitled to the proceeds from the condemnation proceeding because it held the deed to the land. The condemnation proceeds totaled about $9,000. And St. Columba's had originally promised the Diocese of Washington that it would hold that money in trust to benefit the establishment of a new St. George's that the diocese was trying to set up. But when push came to shove, St. Columba's kept about $8,500, paid down some of its debt, and only gave about $500 for St. George's. That translates into about $140,000 for St. Columba's and about $9,000 for St. George's.
I had an interesting conversation with the woman who wrote the history of St. Albans. And she wanted to say that because of St. Albans' influence was the reason why St. George's in the LeDroit Park, Bloomingdale community was such a strong parish. And she said this in a very paternalistic way. If it had not been for white oversight, St. George's would not have been as strong as it is. And I begged to differ. And I told her that you had a group of people who came from Charlotte, North Carolina, who were confirmed Episcopalians. The people that, did you say anything? Well, I didn't say this to her, I should have. You know, what did St. Albans say when Fort Reno was being cleared of black people? You were responsible for this mission. The same thing could be said for St. John's, when black people were being moved out of Georgetown. Rather than deal with that and say, okay, well, now we haven't been doing much with our colored chapel members, so we'll get rid of them.
First time I was on vestry, I was senior warden, and somebody brought up a conversation about the balcony. And I asked one of the longtime parishioners, I said, well, what was the deal with the balcony? Oh, it was in disrepair. Oh, okay. And so they tore it down because it was in disrepair. I think it was this what it symbolized. I don't know if it was still that if you were African American, you had to sit in the balcony at that time. But I do, I think it was what it represented. And that's probably why it was, maybe some of the truth it was maybe in disrepair, but I think it was, a big part of it was because of what it represented. And so
that the black people had to sit upstairs and had to be separate from the white people. Yeah.
There were so many things historically that have happened, and we're still in the process of uncovering them, where, you know, churches, the land was sold and the financial resources went back to a white congregation or a white parish, where black congregants were disbanded and Black clergy were underpaid or not paid at all. So those are historical implications. The long-standing impact from some of those choices made in the 1800s or the early 1900s are such that if we look now, the historically or predominantly Black congregations are under-resourced. They have long-standing deferred maintenance, and financially their investment income is minimal, so that even though the parishioners are pledging and contributing well beyond where some of our predominantly white congregations are, they're still not able to fully compensate clergy.
I understand reparations is the process of truth-telling, uncovering and understanding and naming that which is broken, that which has caused harm, that which has caused damage, so that in telling the truth, we can chart a path forward in which there is not simply a place for everyone, but a place where people can thrive, and we can actually be about who we say we really are, which is a community of justice and love and mercy and reconciliation. And I think if we really take seriously that confession that we say each Sunday in worship, then to confess that we have failed means we are honest and that there is mercy on the other side, but it first comes with naming what really is. So that's how I understand reparations from a broader spiritual standpoint.
Part of my personal history is being in close relationship with many people who have undertaken recovery work. And part of that work is recognizing where you have made a wrong or where you have hurt someone, and then seeking to make amends. And as I've heard that word used as we talk about reparations, it stands out to me as part of this work that we need to engage in. It's one thing to be able to admit where we've been wrong. It's another thing to take the next step to make amends for that wrong. And I guess what I would add to that is that in my experience, when you seek to make amends, it doesn't always mean that you have wronged someone or hurt someone on purpose for that person to have been hurt and for you to need to make amends for that.
My hope as EDAL moves towards reparations is that we, the Episcopal Church in the Diocese of Washington, is able to show the larger community and each other what it means to make amends for harms that we weren't directly involved in, but we know that our siblings in Christ are being affected by. That our hearts are big enough to understand that some of our siblings are really suffering and we need to do something about it. And I think that's a gift that the Episcopal Church can offer. That's a gift that we can offer each other. There is some grace in that. I know this is hard for some people who haven't been swimming in these waters to really grasp, but to be able to say, I can't grasp all of it, but I understand that you feel very deeply, and I'm willing to do what I need to do in order to meet you where you are. I think that really would be church.